Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, issue number 6. Really good issue. This was fun. Not a lot of series is coming out that are actually enjoyable, you know? Maybe I should go and start reading some more DC again. It's been a while. But for now, I've got this. There's a couple things that are actually good that'll continue being good, I imagine. This is just fantastic. Let's talk about who made this comic book. We'll move on from there. The writers are Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. Artist Carmen Carnero and color artist Nolan Woodard. Letters VC's Joe Caramagna and cover art by Caramagna and by Carnero and Sanchez. Nick Klein does a variant cover. There's a bunch of stuff out there. Oh, and what do we got here? Joe Simon and Jack Kirby are the creators of Captain Frickin' America. So Bucky had just shot Cap, and he's bleeding badly out of the left shoulder. One of the things I like so much about Captain America is he's just a regular guy, you know? I mean, he's Superman, but mortal. I know he's got the super soldier serum and stuff like that, and he doesn't only sleep 3 hours a day like Batman and train, 27 hours a day like Batman. But he's just some guy with steroids, basically. Whatever. The idea is that he is a regular human being. He really is Superman, but he's not bulletproof. He's got the shield, but the shield isn't him. More so in this series than most. It's hard to be brave when you can't be hurt. Cap can be hurt, and I love that he was shown to be just as human as the rest of us, for the most part. You know, he could be the toughest guy in the world. You could be in... Oh, God, what just happened? I forget who it was. But this was just maybe 2 months ago. The #1 ranked BJJ wrestler, roller out there, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu roller out there, just got into a fight with another guy who was into BJJ in a bar. And the other guy happened to be a cop also. And he pulled out a gun and shot him in the back of the head. Like, as good as you are and as much as you train and da-da-da-da-da. Every time somebody says a gun is the gun is the great equalizer, that's not the equalizer unless you both have the gun and similar amounts of training and similar guns, similar ammo. Like, dude, it's just one of those things. I love the idea that here's a comic book issue where a freaking gun actually changed things. The last time I remember a gun changing to, well, I could say, what led up to the events of Spider-Man Back in Black, right? I could say, what was that one? Not Nick Fury. Nick Fury, however, he's had a couple. Doctor Strange, the one Doctor Strange one. I keep on thinking Dust of Death. Dust of Death is Red Skull. Crap, I can't remember the name of it, but it's considered the best of the Doctor Strange stuff. Very rarely in comic books does a gun actually change things, right? A single bullet, like the bullet that killed Captain America. In this particular case, it's Bucky, and it's wild to see something so simple take out the symbol of America, the symbol of righteousness, the symbol of good, the symbol of hope, right? Cap still gets up, and it's great. The stuff that's in here is really just stuff from other comic books. Like when Bucky mentions, yeah, listen, Cap, unfortunately planting yourself like a tree is not going to be enough in this situation. Obviously, this is taking something from back in the Marvel superhero Civil War, where Captain America said that to Spider-Man. And this was just a quote from Mark Twain, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that. There was the mention here. There was other mentions where it comes from other places. There's the scene where Bucky goes and does that, power punch to hit Cap's shield, and there's like electricity everywhere, and he puts a shield up like that and everything. And obviously that's from the from the Captain America Civil War, Cap Part 3 movie from the MCU. There's a bunch of stuff here that's taken from other places. On first inspection, one might think, oh, it's just, he's just taking from other stuff. Yeah, but it's the idea that they've read these things. There's the one part where Bucky says, I've always been able to go to the places that you can't, Cap. And this is just one of those places, Steve. You have to move on. I have to stay here. And it's like, that's something from Brubaker's run that was very specific. In fact, I think that was from issue 1 of Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America. I think that was issue 1 where he says Bucky was always able, a lot of people think that Bucky was just the cool little kid that did da-da-da, or he was annoying or whatever. No, in reality, he was, and this was the setup for the Winter Soldier. He was the guy who was super trained, just like me, but he was more of an assassin. I wore the bright colors, quite the reverse of Batman, right? Batman is in the dark colors, Robin is in the bright colors. Robin's what you see. Batman's punch is what you don't. You just feel it before, you wake up in a hospital someplace, wired up jaw, sipping soup through a straw. In this case, Captain America was the colorful one. I can't hide. I'm coming right out. Here comes my punch. You'll see it coming, and you'll still wake up with your jaw wired shut. But Bucky was the one who hid in the shadows. Bucky was the assassin. You didn't see, you saw Captain America's red fist coming from a mile away. If you even saw the red dot on your forehead, surprise, surprise. It's not a Hindu thing. You just got assassinated. You just got sniped. Like, I love that difference, like the complement between these two characters. And when you think about it, the only thing that can really stop Captain America is an assassin. There's really his greatest weakness is assassins, What assassin is going to take out Captain or Superman, right? I love the idea that so much was brought up from other comic books showing that these two guys, Lansing and Kelly, have read so much else that's out there. Why? Because it gives us our favorite. I don't remember if I said this about this comic book before, but I'm saying it now. It gives us the best versions that we know of these characters. There's been lots of dumb things about Captain America before. Streets of Poison probably being the dumbest of the dumb, right? There's been a whole lot of dumb stuff about Bucky, making him some silly little, I'm going to joke around with Hawkeye. Get out of here with that. Treating him like a sidekick, stuff like that. But sometimes some people have gotten it just perfectly right with these two characters. And when you take what I think consensus will show is the best of the best aspects that have ever been written about these two characters, that's a spicy and meatball. I'm not trying to do too many spoilers for this comic book, but it's hard not to because there was so much excellence in this comic book. Guys, this is issue 6. That means that right around the corner, if you haven't been reading this, the trade paperback is about to come out. When that trade paperback drops, it's usually around the time that an issue 7 will drop, right? When that trade paperback drops, if you've been one of the people listening to my reviews, and you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll give it a shot, maybe I'll give it a shot, maybe I'll give it a shot. How about next month or so when the trade comes out? That's when you actually give it a shot. Go and ask your comic book store, hey, can I please have this in trade? Can you put it in my pull box? Get this comic book in your box. Because this is, to me, an amazing series. This is the end of a particular story arc. Cap didn't win. The red, white, and blue didn't win. The other red, white, and blue won. Read the comic book to understand what I'm talking about. The symbology, the symbolism. What Bucky does at the end to get rid of Steve. It's kind of weird the way he did it. It's like, really? What is that, like a fingerprint thing? But the way that he does it, what he does is like, oh, wow. This is literally leaving a piece of you behind. That was probably too spoilery. I apologize. Leaves a piece of him behind, of himself, so that he can move on and become anew. This was a brilliant end. This is a great way to really stick the landing of a comic book, of an arc. These first 6 issues were amazing. Oh man, I can't wait to see what comes next. Cannot wait to see what's coming out next from these guys. The next issue is Captain America. I am genuinely elated to be reading Captain America again, because for so many, the previous run before that, I think the previous run, whatever, it's been a long time since there has been a writer on Captain America that have actually been able to say, oh no, this was good. Even I think Mark Waid was doing something for the interim really shortly. In the beginning, I liked what he was doing, and then he turned into some stupid thing where I'm like, what the fuck is this? The frick am I looking at here? You know, he was having some issues with that Comicsgate guy, whatever his name was, Zach, right? I don't know what the hell that was. But I think the first part of that was like the last time that I really, if I remember correctly, the last time that I really liked something from Captain America. After Way of Secret Empire ended, I'm really happy that there's some good Captain America coming out again. This kitten just will not get off of me. Like, my legs are actually going numb. This kitten is just on me all the time. Love you too, kitty. You need a life. You might need a wife too. Go talk to Bagel. Anyway, guys, you need to be reading this. You need to be reading this. I know there's some people who you're only following me because of what I do with Captain America. My advice to you very specifically, very directly, if you're not reading this, you probably should be. You should grab this comic book, put all your thoughts and expectations out of this book, and just read the book for what it is. Forget about what you think is supposed to happen in the future. I don't know what's about to happen in the future, but I know this. Oh, that's scratching me, kitty. Don't scratch me. I think that this is amazing, and I think that anybody who wants a spy espionage type, not even like a whodunit, but just something where it's actually cerebral, this is what Captain America is supposed to be. To me, this is what Captain America is supposed to be. This series is very similar to what Winter Soldier, the movie, was trying to make. Well, actually, they were trying to make the Brubaker run to a degree, but all the people who try to copy movies, this seems like the inevitable successor to those 3 Captain America movies. This right here. Not that it's trying to copy it, but it's trying to take Captain America from the logical conclusion of where he should go next. This, I believe, is where he should go next. It's fantastic. Guys, also the stuff with the secret code, the code is actually given here. It's finally given here. It's funny that the first letters on here are Jim Barnes. That was pretty clever. Nice. I didn't even bother to look at what pattern order, because I thought there's so many other people doing it, and it was silly the way they were doing it. As of this issue 6, it said 13 codes have already been put out, starting with Devil's Reign, Winter Soldier issue number 1. That makes sense because I remember referencing that towards the beginning of this run, this arc. So it's good to see that they were actually doing it from back then. Maybe I'll go back and I'll look at some stuff, but 13 codes? I doubt that 6 of them were, or that 2 of them were done in each issue before this, and then the 13th was Devil's Reign. There must have been something else at some point or another. I don't know. But if there's 13 of them total and you're supposed to check these all out, feel free to check them and you send them to the Marvel website, whatever the email address that they gave us, makeminemarvel.com or what, I don't know what it was. It's in the comic book. Go check. You should be buying this comic book anyway, right? And they'll check to see if you're right, if you're correct. One of them, they boldface the word second. It might take a second look, or a second try or something like that. Obviously, that means something. On top of that, if you look at the code, some of the letters repeat. When you get down to like T, T equals T. Okay, W equals W, X equals X, Z equals Z. And there is no Y. Y translates to, I think it was A. See if I can go back and look. I think I left it up here. I did not? Really? Oh, there we go. I did. Y equals A. But J is supposed to equal A. So there's two A's but no Y? Maybe that's the second look that they're talking about. I didn't know. Either way, if you're going to go back and find all 13 of these codes and figure out what they all mean, go back and do it. But take a look at the code. The code is given here. And again, pay attention to the idea that it said a second look and that at one point it said, or it shows that there is no Y in the code. So something has to be it. And it's funny because if it's indeterminate between Y and A, there are plenty of words in English where if you switch out a Y with an A, it'll mean something different. It'll be a different word. And if you switch out the A with a Y, like you can literally make two different words with Y and A. That's cool. I like that. A little bit of linguistics in this. I hope that somebody does decide to go and look up the code and whatnot. If somebody gives me an idea of what the comic books are that would have all of the codes in them, I will absolutely do it. I don't feel like trying to find which comic books are which that does this, that, and the other thing. So it is what it is. Anyway, like I said, you should be checking out this comic book. And with that, I'm going to bounce. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Like the video and watch an ad. Class dismissed.